This video is on stellar lumens, and it's a macro look at the charts and some fractal analysis, some time analysis, some Stargate signal analysis, and kind of seeing when the big boom could happen, right? And this is kind of like the end product and the result of what I had found going through the chart. But we're going to start fresh. We're going to start off with a fresh chart here, and I'm going to delete everything. And we're going to be on the 12-day chart. So on the 12-day chart, we're wondering when we're going to see a big move like that. And if we were to compare basically the 12-day buy nows and sell nows, you can see the sell now hit the top over here, the buy now hit the bottom, sell now hit the top, buy now hit the bottom. This is the Stargate screener over here. And I got the XLM specific screener up as well too. But what's fascinating is the time frames. So let's look over here, and we can see around like February 18th to around the March time frame, you'll see a change of trend. So this whole year was straight up, and then around that March time frame, we changed the trend. And then we had come down here, and then same kind of thing in February, March, we had put in this local high, and we continued the trend. So you'll either see an acceleration or a change of trend. Then right here in January 2020, we started to rally up. And in March or February, March-ish, we had our COVID Black Swan crash. So we had our Black Swan COVID crash over here. But if we were to look at kind of what we're doing now, right, versus back here, we could also say, hey, we broke out of this downtrend. Let me pull this up a little bit. We broke out of this bear market back here in January in 2020. And kind of just like what we did back here in January 2023, 3 years later, we broke out of this bear market trend down here, right? So that lines up as far as the trend line coming down. You could even put a trend line kind of coming out like this as well too. And you could do one over here as well for stellar. And it matches up. It really matches up. Thinking about as well, we have from this sell now to this buy now was around 706 days. Let's see about over here. So this was 634 days. So it was a little faster, a tiny bit faster. But let's keep going so I can show you what I found. So we got basically, we're down in this bear market falling wedge, and we broke out here of the macro trend line. We got our 12-day buy now. We ended up having a black swan to then crash one more time to double bottom. This kind of went overshot, whereas it probably would have stopped straight right here, kind of equal to this low if it wasn't the COVID kind of crash there. But we kind of leveled off. And then we started going up. That was our bottom. And we went into our bull market. Kind of just like over here, where we had this falling wedge, bear market, broke out of it, got our 12-day buy now. And then we had this little kind of crash as well too. This crash, we could say the black swan of Silvergate, of Silicon Valley Bank, of what's the other one? Of Signature Bank, right? So we could say this last kind of 3 to 4 weeks was a regulatory and systemic black swan that played out, which kind of pulled markets back down a bit right after the 12-day buy now. So that's exactly what happened over here as well too. Now, what's interesting is if we were to go all the way out and we were to take now January of 2017, so back here, right? So take January of 2017, and we were to copy this bars pattern. So January 2017, right on the dot, and we copy it all the way until January of 2020. So 3 years later, right? And now we're 3 years later from 2020. So we're in January 2023. So what we're going to do is we're going to match this up. We're going to match it up to a T. And I want to make sure this is right on January 2020. Yep, perfect. And this is what we're seeing here. We are seeing, oh, I think I might have missed. No, that's right. That's right. So what we're seeing is the past pattern, January 2017 to January 2020. played out from January 2020 to January 2023. And we're entering this new phase for crypto at large, but the stellar chart specifically, because this is kind of what I'm macro looking at the moment, but this applies to all of crypto. It's just kind of cleaner on stellar's chart to show this because it's kind of lining up to a T. But as you can see, I used this past fractal and applied it right here. And this is where it would start. And it's like we roll over, we find our overall bottom, and then we pop up here. This was like a more violent beanstalk up, but ultimately the same kind of pattern played out here. So if I were to take this and let's see if we can kind of go like this. Yeah, so that's basically, it's like mirrored. So I basically kind of mirrored it, and this is what it looks like. So same similar pattern played out, just mirrored, and that happens sometimes. But then ultimately we found our bottom at the same place. We popped up here, came back down, bottom same place, popped up here, came down, and then we shot. And we did like this kind of little sideways action, blow off top, and then we went into our bear market. Just like here, we shot, little sideways action, blow off top, and then we went into our bear market. So just like right here was, it told us to sell now. Back here, same kind of over here as well too. So you could say this is actually the same kind of level, because if you were to really match these up to a T, right here and then right here. So this is how it matches up, and that matches to a T as well too. And then we kind of go into this downtrend, and you'll notice with stellar, when it goes into downtrends, it'll go 3 times and kind of go like a stair step. So you had 1 and then stair step down, 2, and then stair step down, right? 3. And then we ultimately, when we pop back above these highs, we go into our bull run again. So what did we just do? We went down 1, down 2, and then now down 3, right? So this is our third. And I will say, if we pop back above 12 cents and hold there as support, it's set in stone that stellar has bottomed for sure. Not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but matching it up to back here and to the past. Technically, we are all in the right places right now, because I copied this till January 2020. It was right to the T. So now if we were to repeat what had already happened, right? So now I'll take this and now I'll just copy it straight over. It could be, oh, we already basically did that. So it would be something along the lines like a slow grind up. We could slow grind up, and then by February 2024 be back at the highs we're at over here. Or we could be in a moment where we actually do this, where we actually go into another huge kind of run, a violent beanstalk. So if I were to copy this right here, so this is January. So this kind of checks out. It really kind of checks out, because where we just might have bottomed right there, or we had that wick come in, that's kind of lining up where that bottom would be. If this pans out to a T, we'll probably chill here for another 11 days. We'll pop up, maybe flirt with 9 cents, 10 cents a little bit. But then the following candle, so in 13 days to 13 to 25 days, we could be up around 18 to 20 cents based off of how this fractal would play out. And then a little bit later on, we could be hitting new all-time highs by May. So this is pretty huge as far as with everything lining up right now. We have a lot of things lining up with the technicals, as far as with now kind of macro events that have panned out with these almost with bank failures, and then the Fed and the regulator stepping in. There's a lot of things at play here, but now we are seeing Bitcoin break above that 25K, 25.3K level, critical level. We want to see that hold. If all that pans out, this could very well be in the cards for XLM, because there's a lot of things matching up to it. On top of it, we had already came down and we hit a key horizontal level of support where we came down here, support, broke below it, rejection, 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 got above support, support. We went, came back down and retested as support. And at the same time, if we go down to these lower time frames, what we did was we had a low here to a high. We stretch it out. This is like the holy grail, what you love to see. I believe we hit a macro bottom right here with Stellar at the end of this year, start of the year. What we did was we rallied hard and we got a sell now over here. And then we're getting a 1-day buy now, not yet confirmed. We have to wait for the candle to close. But what we saw was from the low to the high, back down, we hit the 786. We had a 1-day prepare to buy soons. We had 12 hours. We had 9 hours. We had 6 hours. We had 4 hours. We also had, we might have had a 2-day. I don't know if we had a 2-day or not, but yeah. And then also we had a buy nows back here, big macro time frame stuff. So usually when that happens, you pull up, you got to pull a little bit back down, retested this trend line as support twice, right? Support at the same time as hitting the 786, at the same time as putting in some, no divergence, but at the same time seeing those medium term, high time frame and small time frames momentum indicators curl up. Yeah, definitely this is a scenario that could absolutely pan out. Not saying it's 100%, but with all the stars aligned right now and the fractals and the time analysis of how long it should take and just the patterns of what happened before, yeah, definitely it could be in the cards here. So now let's go to the weekly chart and let's look at this fractal pattern. And it's just crazy how it works out and how kind of the same similar moves happen at the same time. Maybe we could pull it out like this a little more and that could fit a little better at the end of the day. We're past due as far as moves to be made, and we're already seeing the early signs of it. So this is lining up crazy. It's matching. Like I said, the patterns repeat themselves on smaller time frames, which make up the medium time frames, which make up the macro time frames, and they just repeat. So take a look. Like I mean, you could take this pattern right here, go like that. Then you could bring it right here, and it's the same thing. Then you could bring it right here. It's just smaller. It's the same thing, guys, over and over and over again. Then right here, even smaller, right? So same thing over and over. It really is. And then this makes up a bigger one. But as you can see, same patterns repeating over and over again. And to me, it looks like we're at the tail end of this. And some interesting times are on the way. We're already feeling it now. So many things could happen, and I'm not ruling this out. I've seen a lot of things so far this year, and we're not even close to done. There's more hidden in the sleeve. I can feel it, and definitely a hyper boom could be in the cards before a real Ice 9 freeze, right? So I'm going to play it. I'm going to trade the opportunity. I'm heavily consolidated into Stellar and XRP, and I am utilizing Femex to day trade these violent swings to then take those gains to then put back into spot holdings, back onto a secured wallet tucked away for long term. So we got a game plan over here. If you don't, come join the Discord. I'll put the link in the bio. Say what up. Say you want the white glove. We actually have 3 spots open for the month of March. As soon as we get them, we're going to close it down again. We're letting some people in, just 3, because of the market pumping, and we want to make sure that we're still kind of bringing in people who need that assistance of navigating the market with the Stargate screener. So I'll see you guys in the Discord, and in the next video I'll cover the same thing but with XRP.